A student in distress rarely asks for help directly. Because they often suffer in silence, the adults around them must be the ones to notice the signs and initiate the first conversation. This module provides a 4-step workflow to guide that process: establishing an offline baseline, conducting a digital audit, executing a calm check-in, and finally, documenting and escalating your findings. Before acting, you must be familiar with your specific school's official reporting and emergency procedures. These local protocols determine exactly how you will execute the final stages of the intervention. Mastering this workflow ensures that when a student struggles, you are equipped to provide structured, actionable support. The first step requires observing the student in physical environments. To identify when something is wrong, you must first understand what their normal baseline behavior looks like during a typical school day. Watch for sharp departures from that baseline. This might include a normally social student becoming quiet and isolated, displays of uncharacteristic anger, a sudden loss of interest, or declining grades. Avoid reacting to a single bad day or an isolated incident. Students experience temporary moods that do not necessarily indicate a crisis. Instead, look for behavioral clusters. As this graph shows, a cluster occurs when several negative changes appear simultaneously. Monitor their intensity and duration. When a cluster persists over several weeks, it indicates genuine distress, not just a passing mood swing. Identifying a sustained cluster of offline shifts is the definitive trigger to move to the next phase of the protocol. Physical behavior only provides part of the story. To see the full picture, you must also audit the student's online activity and digital footprint. Watch for extreme red flags in their posts, such as repeated expressions of revenge, hopelessness, or targeted anger toward others. There are also secondary signs to monitor, including a sudden obsession with violent content or abrupt secrecy when using digital devices. When you find concerning content, resist the urge to immediately assume the worst-case scenario. Look for patterns. Evaluate the online content within the context of the student's normal digital behavior to see if it represents a significant shift. When these digital red flags align with the offline behavioral clusters you've identified, you have the evidence needed to initiate the check-in. Step 3 is the calm check-in. Secure a private, quiet space away from other students so the conversation can happen without interruption or social pressure. Use this specific opening to begin. I noticed you have not seemed like yourself lately. Is something happening that you want to talk about? Once you have opened the floor, listen. Let the student speak without interrupting them or offering immediate judgments on their situation. Do not make promises you cannot keep. If the student reveals they are in danger, you are required to report it, so you must never guarantee absolute confidentiality. If the student becomes angry or refuses to speak, remain calm. Thank them for the conversation, and leave the door open for them to come back to you later. This check-in is not a therapy session. It is a bridge designed to connect the student with professional help. Step 4 is formal documentation. You must log every observation and interaction immediately to ensure the protocol remains effective. When writing your report, stick to objective facts. Record specific dates and behaviors, keeping your subjective assumptions or personal theories out of the log. For routine behavioral concerns, follow this first path. Hand your report to a guidance counselor or the designated school official. If you identify an active threat of harm, move to the second path. Trigger your school's emergency protocols and contact security or emergency services immediately. Completing this step successfully transfers the responsibility of care to a coordinated support team. You now have the workflow required to observe, approach, and report a student in distress. Providing early attention offers a student structured support while a situation is still manageable, preventing a difficulty from escalating into a crisis. You can download the supplementary Observation Checklist PDF to use as a quick reference guide in your daily work. Strictly following this protocol protects vulnerable students and strengthens the safety of the entire school community.